Toyota's hydrogen fuel cell cars work by using a chemical reaction between hydrogen stored in the car and oxygen from the air to make electricity that powers the car. This system includes an important part called an electrolyzer. The process is very efficient and safe, as it doesn't need much energy and doesn't produce any harmful byproducts. One of the best things about this process is that it doesn't need a big heavy tank to store the hydrogen. The electrolyzer can make hydrogen as it's needed, making the car lighter and more efficient. To use hydrogen fuel effectively, some parts of the car's motor need to be changed. The fuel injectors, which spray fuel into the engine, need to be adapted to spray hydrogen correctly. Also, the engine block and cylinder head need to be stronger to handle the high pressure of hydrogen fuel. Other parts like valves and spark plugs also need to be specially made to help the engine run well and safely. Hydrogen is a gas, so it needs special tanks that can handle high pressure. These tanks are heavy, expensive, and can leak, which can be dangerous. Water, being a liquid, is much easier to store and doesn't need special tanks or high pressure, making it safer and more practical. This makes the water motor versatile, suitable for small cars, big trucks, and even power plants. Its simplicity and safety make it a better choice than other types of motors. Plus, it helps reduce our reliance on fossil fuels and cuts down harmful emissions. This makes it a more sustainable option for transportation and energy generation. However, it may surprise you to know that this whole motive to make a car powered by water isn't exactly an original idea. The history of water vehicles goes long before Toyota began working on cars that run purely on water. Plenty of others had tried to do the same. The number of bold claims and experimental attempts might just blow your mind. Back in 2008, a Japanese company called JPX made headlines by announcing a car that could run on water instead of gasoline or diesel. It caught attention quickly because it offered the promise of a cheaper, greener way to fuel vehicles. JPX claimed their car used a special system that split water into hydrogen and oxygen, using the hydrogen as fuel to run the car. But experts soon discovered that the system didn't work on just water. It also required a material called metal hydride. That meant the car wasn't really powered by water alone. JPX never backed up their claims with solid scientific evidence, and many scientists were highly skeptical. They explained that water is a very stable molecule and splitting it into hydrogen and oxygen takes a lot of energy. According to physics, you can't get free energy from water because it actually takes more energy to break water molecules apart than you'd get back from using the hydrogen as fuel. Some scientists also reminded people about Stanley Meyer, who back in the 1980s said he had built a dune buggy that ran on water. But just like JPX, Meyer never provided any strong proof. Eventually, his claims were exposed as false, and in 1996, he was convicted of fraud. The whole JPX story reminded many people of Meyer's tale, and it made others even more suspicious of these kinds of claims. In 2002, another company called Hydrogen Technology Applications said they had created a device called upend, which could split water into hydrogen and oxygen. At first, they used it to make welding safer, but later, they started saying it could be used to power cars. However, their scientific explanations didn't hold up, and many of their claims seemed overstated. The company later admitted the device could only help improve fuel efficiency. It couldn't actually run a car on water alone. Also in 2002, a company named Genesis World Energy claimed they had a way to get energy from water. They collected a lot of money from investors but never delivered a working product. By 2006, the company's founder, Patrick Kelly, ended up in jail for fraud. Then, in 2008, the same year JPX made their big announcement, a man in Sri Lanka named Tushara Priyal Desa said he drove a car 190 miles using only 3 liters of water. Even the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka supported him at first, but soon after, Tushara was arrested for fraud, and like many others before him, his claims turned out to be heavily exaggerated and misleading. More recently in 2022, an inventor from Indonesia named Arianto claimed he had created a device called Ankuba that could convert water into hydrogen fuel. He said it could power a motorcycle for 500 kilometers using just 1 liter of water, and even claimed that luxury car brands like Lamborghini and Ferrari were interested in his invention. But scientists in Indonesia raised doubts, saying the device didn't make sense according to the laws of physics. It also turned out that the car companies weren't actually interested. Just like the earlier cases, Orianto's story seemed more about making attention-grabbing claims than offering real, proven technology. Despite these failed attempts and scams, we have to wonder if there has been a deliberate attempt to stifle the usage of water as fuel for vehicles. While we certainly can't prove that there has been suppression, there are many reasons why this might be so. For one, the global energy industry, currently dominated by fossil fuels, is worth trillions of dollars. Introducing a technology that could make traditional energy sources a thing of the past threatens the financial interests of powerful corporations and stakeholders. These entities have enough resources and influence to suppress or discredit technologies that could threaten their market dominance. For example, fossil fuel companies have a vested interest in maintaining their market share and may lobby against or discredit alternative energy technologies to protect their profits. Another probable reason is that new and innovative technologies often face skepticism and resistance from the public and media. It is understandably hard for the public to grasp how water could be used to fuel a vehicle. The perceived risks, safety concerns, and lack of understanding can lead to negative publicity and hinder widespread acceptance. Powerful entities may also choose to exploit these fears to maintain control over the narrative and suppress these potentially disruptive technologies. For example, misinformation campaigns can create doubt and fear around new technologies, making the public less likely to accept them. However, with Toyota publicly stating its plans to develop these cars while presenting evidence on how the science works, it is entirely possible we are about to see the dawn of a new age. Their influence in the mobility market, the trust they have built over the years, and their deep pool of resources suggest that we will see water vehicles become a reality rather than just hearsay. All this is a result of Toyota's desire to stay ahead in a market that is moving toward clean technologies and electric vehicles. Especially with new electric cars coming from companies like BYD and Xiaomi in China, it has led them to focus on making their hydrogen technology better and more efficient to meet the growing need for environmentally friendly transportation. This history of water-powered car ideas shows that while many claims might have been false, the push for greener energy solutions is real and important. Toyota's ongoing research has already produced a car, the Mirai, that is powered by hydrogen, and these advancements prove that a more sustainable future in transportation is possible, and there is still more to come. Unlike battery electric vehicles which rely on large lithium-ion batteries, Toyota's water-powered car utilizes hydrogen fuel cells. This difference not only addresses some of the environmental concerns associated with battery production, but also offers a cleaner alternative in terms of emissions by producing only water vapor. Toyota's engine eliminates the release of harmful pollutants such as carbon dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and particulate matter, which are common with fossil fuel-powered vehicles. On top of that, Toyota's hydrogen fuel cell technology offers several advantages over conventional batteries used in electric vehicles. For instance, hydrogen fuel cells can be refueled much faster than recharging a battery, often taking just a few minutes to fill up a hydrogen tank compared to several hours needed to recharge a battery. This makes the water-powered car more convenient for long-distance travel and reduces downtime for refueling. Another major advantage of hydrogen fuel cells is their higher energy density compared to lithium-ion batteries. This means that hydrogen fuel cells can store more energy per unit of weight, potentially providing a greater driving range for vehicles. Toyota's commitment to integrating renewable energy sources into the hydrogen production process aligns with global efforts to reduce reliance on fossil fuels. By using solar, wind, and hydroelectric power to generate hydrogen, Toyota's water-powered car can operate with a minimal carbon footprint, making it a truly green alternative in the automotive industry. Toyota's ongoing mission for eco-friendly innovation: great things don't usually happen overnight, and Toyota's dedication to eco-friendly innovation is no exception. Their journey goes far beyond just creating hydrogen fuel cell vehicles. Toyota has been a trailblazer in hybrid technology and continues to explore cleaner fuel alternatives. One standout area of focus is developing hydrocarbons that are easier on the environment. Normally, hydrocarbons refer to fossil fuels like gasoline and diesel, major contributors to carbon emissions, but Toyota is looking into synthetic hydrocarbons and biofuels as cleaner substitutes. Synthetic hydrocarbons are made through chemical reactions that turn carbon dioxide and hydrogen into fuel, basically recycling CO2 and cutting down on overall emissions, which come from renewable sources like plant materials, animal waste, and algae, offer another exciting possibility. These fuels are not only sustainable but can be produced again and again. Toyota has been investing in making biofuel production more efficient, and figuring out how to use these fuels in its vehicles. The big goal: offer cleaner solutions right now, while the world builds out the infrastructure needed for hydrogen and electric vehicles. But that's just the beginning. Beyond hydrocarbons, Toyota has made huge leaps in fuel cell technology. At the heart of their green vehicle strategy is the hydrogen fuel cell, which turns hydrogen gas into electricity through a chemical reaction with oxygen. This process gives off only water vapor, making it one of the cleanest energy sources out there. Toyota's first prototype of a fuel cell vehicle dates back to the early 90s, and since then the technology has come a long way. Today's fuel cells are more powerful, more compact, and more affordable. These improvements are thanks to better catalyst materials, stronger membranes, and smarter system design. As of the latest updates, Toyota holds over 5,000 patents tied to hydrogen fuel cell technology. These patents cover key innovations like how the fuel cell stack is built, how hydrogen is stored, and how to produce hydrogen efficiently. By locking down these patents, Toyota not only protects its breakthroughs, it also reinforces its leadership in building a greener future for transportation. The electrode that the hydrogen is attracted to is called the negative electrode, or the cathode. The electrode that the oxygen is attracted to is called the positive electrode, or the anode. When the electricity flows through the electrodes, it makes the hydrogen atoms move to the cathode and the oxygen atoms move to the anode. This process is very efficient and safe, as it doesn't need a lot of energy to happen, and it doesn't produce any harmful byproducts. The only thing that comes out of the electrolyzer is hydrogen and oxygen. The hydrogen can then be used as fuel for the motor. The motor, well, it converts the electrical energy from the fuel cell into mechanical energy, which drives the wheels. The power control unit plays a crucial role here, managing the flow of electricity from the fuel cell stack and the battery to the motor, making sure there's efficient power distribution for smooth acceleration and regenerative braking. The fuel cell stack generates electricity through the electrochemical reaction between hydrogen and oxygen. This process produces direct current electricity, or DC, which is then converted to alternating current, or AC, by an inverter to power the motor. During braking, the motor actually acts as a generator, converting kinetic energy back into electrical energy that's stored in the battery. This, not only enhances efficiency but also adds to the overall driving experience. While this may seem low, hydrogen fuel cell vehicles, or FCVs, typically have a longer range compared to battery electric vehicles, or BEVs, because hydrogen has a higher energy density. This means that despite the 40 to 50% efficiency, the amount of energy stored as hydrogen can provide substantial driving distances.